Just seemed to kill it on his step phase. Otherwise that could have got close to 15 metres. There you go, 14.56, quite happy with that. You can see with the athletes, they know when they've hit it right, and he knows there's more. This is Daniel Lewis, he was the pre-event favourite. Personal best coming into this of 14.66. And his best performance came in the first round. You can see very, very fast on the run-up, great jump, jumps miles into the pit. Some of the guys were jumping off the 13 metre board, he was actually jumping off the 11 metre board, so that's why he's gone way, way, way into the pit. But very solid technique there, not a lot of lateral movement, and that was a personal best in the very first round, 14.75. Great time to do it, took the gold medal perfectly on the board there. But it looks like he's gone 17 metres, but that's because the board was 2 metres further in. There you go, 14.75 with no wind.
Well, 1-2 results to confirm these events. Of course, they get the teams really screaming in the stands. The senior girls sprint relay final won by Durham, 48.38 from Greater Manchester. Big winning margin. Hampshire take the bronze. And the intergirls, Durham coming out from top, 48.74, just narrowly winning over Surrey, who have to settle for silver, with North Yorkshire 1/100th down in third. And in that fabulous senior boys 4x100 final just now, West Midlands, fittingly as Alan said, winning on home ground, 41.73 seconds for the gold, with London having to settle for second place and Cleveland also making the rostrum. And that other individual event we need to bring you, Ed Womersley from Oxford winning very convincingly. Look, 4.5 seconds to the good in the steeplechase. Phil Norman the silver for Devon, and Joe Wade a good bronze for Hampshire.
Well, I think it's an event that has certainly lived up to its illustrious traditions here today. 77 years it's been going. It's gone, well, virtually like clockwork once again. They've packed the events in. The crowd have been thoroughly entertained, and yet again the English Schools Championship has been a major hit. All yours, John.
Well, thanks very much to Alan Parry and the team. What a fabulous afternoon of athletics. We said the action would come thick and fast, and it certainly has. What an afternoon. Now, I'm joined back in the studio by Daley Thompson, also middle distance star Joe Fenn. Welcome to both of you. Joe, you were a former English Schools winner. What did it mean to you?
It was like the Kids Olympics for me. You know, it was just so huge, really, coming away for the first time. Back then we were actually billeted to homes, which was a great experience because you didn't know what kind of family you were going to get, you know. And I remember one year it was like, you know, we had a feast the night before, and then the following year it was like bread and water, and you know, it's just very interesting being billeted to families and just going away on a coach full of the team. Great team spirit, lots of fun, and you know, I think it just prepares you for it. Definitely prepared me for going on and running at international years later. So
this event is so important for the future of British athletics, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I think what it does is it teaches the children lots of things, how to warm up for a race, how to, in particular with my event, the 800 metres, how to learn from mistakes, you know, making tactical errors or getting it right tactically. So I think it just teaches you how to compete, you know, on a big stage, and this is a very, very big stage for all the children here today, and there'll be tears of you know, laughter and tears of sadness for most of them, but what they will do is go away and learn from those mistakes, and I think, you know, we learn loads from mistakes we make. So but I think the sun's shining, and most will have had a really lovely day. So
it's been a great day. And Daley, you've been here all afternoon. What's really impressed you?
Well, firstly, can I just pick up on just a little something Joe just said? I think that one of the great things that you get here is that, as Joe said, you come away from home and you have to look after yourself for 2 or 3 days, which is what you have to do in professional athletics when you're on the circuit. You know, you have to go and stay somewhere different beds and all that kind of stuff, and just generally have to look after yourself and make sure that you get yourself in the right frame of mind for your race, and then you get back on a coach and you go somewhere else. So I think the best thing here, in all honesty, has been the enthusiasm of the kids. Everybody out there, regardless of how they've done, have given 101%, and for me, it's fantastic being in this kind of atmosphere.
And in terms of one highlight that shone out for you, is there anything that really says, yeah, that's someone for the future that I think we'll see?
I really like the intermediate boys 400 metre winner. His name was Nathan Wake, and he was the youngest guy in the field by a year or and a half or so. And at 14 he showed a lot of maturity. He was out in lane 6 and just went for it, gave it his all, and came home. He's fantastic.
Well, I think another highlight was the intermediate boys 100 metre hurdles. James McLean won that one. Let's have a little look at how he performed. Well, James McLean came in with a personal best of 13.04 seconds, but Daly, he absolutely smashed that in the end.
Yeah, well, I think it's great conditions, and he proved himself a championship runner. If you can run a personal best here, you can do it anywhere.
And huge potential, this man. At 16, Daly, in a technical event like the hurdles, is it easy to say, yeah, that guy's got what it takes to ultimately make it?
I think that the only problem with the hurdles is that when he goes up to being a senior boy, the problem is the hurdles also go up 3 inches, and if you don't either get correspondingly better with technique or get taller, then it's a whole completely different event, and you may not be able to cope with the extra height.
Interesting stuff. Well, Mark Richardson caught up with him after his race.
Well, I'm with the man of the moment, James McLean. Fantastic performance.
Yeah, it was really good. I couldn't have asked for a better race. I got out properly and then maintained throughout the race, so I can't complain. Very happy with it.
And a championship record. Just how delighted are you by that performance?
It is very nice to come here and say you're named in the record book for a championship that's been around for 77 years. It's quite flattering to know that you're in names of people that's previously done very well in the competition and in the sport.
And it must be great putting in that kind of performance in front of family and friends.
Yeah, it's just good, especially people now it's on TV as well. People get to see what you're about and get the name of athletics around. So people actually realise the new people up and coming, hopefully for 2012 Olympics, if not 2016. So it should be good.
Well, James McLean, it's a name to remember. Many thanks. Well done.
Thank you.
James McLean certainly is a name to remember. What about yourself, Joe? Any one athlete, perhaps on the women's side, that's really shone out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Hayley Jones, a senior woman, ran a championship performance, 11.59, which is pretty hot. I think she's very promising for the future.
Let's see her run now, because, I mean, an all-round talent. She's got a great range of distances.
She has, yeah. She's previously won the English schools at the 300 metres and the 400 metres. So, it shows she's quite versatile, and it'll be interesting to see going through after senior women, seeing what event she chooses for the future. But very talented.
What are your thoughts? What do you think ultimately is her best bet?
I mean, I think she's probably got some developing to do. She's not overly tall, and I think that's important. Especially some of the kids that we've seen have been pretty big, quite big and developed. And I think it's the ones that are developing slowly and steadily that may come through, in future years. But I think we'll definitely watch out for maybe 400. Maybe, to me she looks like she could move up to even 800s.
That's going to be fascinating to see. Now, of course, another fascinating area that everyone's looking to already is the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Yeah.
5 years away. How many of the athletes potentially we saw today could realistically aspire to pulling on that Olympic vest in 5 years' time?
I think pretty much a fairly high percentage, really. I think what's great, the fact that we have got London 2012, I think 5 years is a good enough window for athletes to actually really see themselves at a major championships like the Olympic Games, especially it being in London. So I think that they'll have probably a real hunger to actually keep in the sport, because this is when we seem to lose lots of athletes when they're sort of leaving school, going to college, and I think what the London 2012 Olympics has done has really hopefully captivated children to carry on, and that's what we need. We just need children to continue in the sport and just train hard and steady over the next 5 years.
Because, Daly, even if they don't make the games, it must be a massive motivational force for anyone interested in athletics.
Oh, I think it has to be. It's the biggest show on earth. It's going to be in our own country. So I think if that doesn't motivate the kids to stay and train, nothing won't. But I think that I reckon if we could get even just 4 or 5 of these kids onto the Olympic team in 2012, we've done really well, because there's such a high dropout rate, and there's so many things on offer for kids now. that, as I say, if we can get 4 or 5, what are we doing?
What can we do, and what can we do in British athletics daily to reduce that dropout? Because we need all the talent we can get, because athletics needs to be successful come 2012.
Well, I think a couple of things. I think we need to make it sexier, and by that we need to speak to kids and see what they want. I think that athletics meetings, not big ones like this, but other ones that are going on around the country or every weekend during the summer, I think they need to be shorter. And so that the kids are not waiting all day for an event and all that kind of stuff. I just think we just need to make it a bit more child friendly, just because, you know, the actual way the meets are run hasn't changed for 60 or 70 years, and life's changed.
And Joe, take an athlete like Hayley Jones, who's your pick of the bunch today.
Yeah.
What needs to happen to her to give her maximum opportunity to translate her awesome talent she's got now into ultimately an Olympic athlete?
I think she needs to be nurtured by, you know, somebody who has been at a major championships. I think, you know, she probably needs her family to support her. And for me, when I was that age, I had a great PE teacher who actually nurtured me and said, why don't you join an athletics club? I'm hoping that she is a member of her local athletics club. And I think, you know, she just needs not to overdo it with training, because she is still developing. But I think what would be really, I mean, I know Kelly Holmes has been, you know, a huge influence on middle distance running for young women, and I'd like to maybe see some more sports sprint personalities getting involved with the youngsters and maybe mentoring them a bit, because I think they need to actually have an inspired figure to look up to. And I think, you know, that could be the key. You were talking about making it sexy. I think they need to relate. Kids need to relate to personalities, and I think, you know, that's something that, you know, we could definitely do.
Well, Joe Fenn, Daley Thompson, thanks so much for your fascinating insights
you.
today. And a reminder that more live athletics is coming up very shortly on Sky Sports, just over 2 weeks' time. This time with a turn of the seniors, the Celtic Cup, live from Grangemouth Stadium in Scotland. All the action on the evening of Tuesday, July 31st. 7 to 9 p.m. on Sky Sports 2. So that concludes our coverage of this English Schools Athletics Championships here in Birmingham. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and do remember some of the names you've seen today, because I can guarantee you a handful of them at least will be wearing that Great Britain vest at the London 2012 Olympic Games. From the whole of the Sky Sports Athletics team, thanks for joining, and we look forward to seeing you soon for the Celtic Cup. Goodbye for now.
Can you imagine when this race is run?
Sport, news and views at skysports.com.